This man is looking to become a 2-weight world champion and even potentially 3. And we got him here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event.
Live from HBF Stadium Festival Hall. Melbourne Pavilion.
Not even backstage, we're literally outside.
Was that the best fight card in Australian MMA history?
Call me crazy, but make sure you call me when I'm right.
Be good if the Aussie MMA Instagram page would give us a bit of glow up, because
welcome to the Australian MMA podcast. Today's guest is none other than Justin Van Heerden. He's the former Eternal MMA featherweight champion and the former Hex featherweight champion. If you don't know anything about Australian MMA, if you're a champion of both those promotions, you're pretty bloody good. And on March 1st, he's looking to take on the Stonecutter, man that's had 40 fights. One of the best fighters to come out of New Zealand. He's competing against him at Hex Fight Series 34, March 1st. Kieran Joblin, Justin Van Heerden squaring off for the Hex lightweight champion. That would, if Justin wins, make him a 2-weight world champion, which I haven't seen since, David Martinez winning the welterweight crown. But before that, no one springs to mind, although everyone's going to yell at me because there's obviously an obvious one that I'm forgetting. But Justin Van Heerden, one of my favourite guests on the show, because he comes in and just does not hold back. Man, he comments on Hex, Eternal, featherweight titles, lightweight titles. He talks on Ilya Topuria, Volks, Szalay, George Mangos. He talks about Antonio Caruso, Harry Webb. The man does not hold back. He's got his own podcast too, so check that out as well. But yeah, he's just one of the most exciting guests going around. He will stir up so much news, and I look forward to all of you messaging me at AustralianMMA_. Make sure you subscribe. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Other than that, guys, we're going to hear from our friends at Vex. And on the other side, let's get straight into it. It's Justin Van Heerden.
Vex MMA has officially teamed up with PRP Global, and their brand new website is now live. Head over to Vex MMA to check out their latest gear, perfect for fighters and fans alike. Whether you're stepping into the cage or just repping the lifestyle, Vex MMA has you covered.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the show, probably taking the record for the most appearances on the Australian MMA podcast, is Justin Van Heerden. Mate, welcome.
Yeah, it's starting to feel real familiar on this platform.
You're on this show more than your own.
Exactly. Funny fact that actually, this week, we're back. We're recording an episode. I'm going to try and bring this shit back.
What are you chatting about? What are you doing? Talk about plug your podcast on my podcast immediately.
All right. So obviously, as you know, I do the absolutely 100% podcast with my friend Dan Meehan. So this week, we'll bring it back. We'll talk about Eternal. We'll talk about Hex. We'll talk about a few other little bits and pieces that have sort of kept popping up now, like the Martin Ewan thing. He just retired. Obviously. And stuff like that. That's interesting. So yeah, just cover all that sort of stuff. And you know me, man. I'll just find someone to spray and look to, just poke and prod a few people.
Yeah, no, and I don't do that at all. Speaking of that, did you see your boy Alan Philpott got the knockout in Sydney?
Right, he is the greatest bantamweight in Australia. Now that Colby's been signed, he's the greatest bantamweight in Australia. Until he fights Casey Murdoch and really proves it, I just have to believe him now, bro. He got a fucking head kick knockout.
Come on,
didn't make weight, but got a knockout.
Well, this is the thing. Like, I always love. I mean, I built this channel off the back of you, Philpott and Costa and Khan Offley. It's been a great time. But like, surely you like to see your boy Philpott get it.
No, obviously he's going against some international dude. I don't know that fucking guy. I'm happy he kicked his fucking head off. Yeah, we ride with our people when they're fighting internationals. As soon as he gets matched with my guy Casey, he's gonna get fucked up.
Well, mate, you're a Sydney boy or a New South Wales boy. Didn't see you around UFC weekend or Eternal. Is it frosty?
I say Eternal was, I just didn't really want to. Yeah, number one, I didn't want to go there because I didn't want to be I didn't want there to be
distraction.
Anything like that, or any of the possibility for anything like that. And also, Seb's fighting. It's an important fight. He's defending his title. It's about him. It's his thing. So I'm like, I'd rather not go, and then for the possibility of there just being like some sort of stupidity or just because you know how it is, man. There's as much as these both promotions, Hex and Eternal, used to say they don't care about each other and they're not phased and blah blah blah. They're doing their thing. We're doing our thing, and it's separate and blah blah blah. It's just the little nitpicky stuff, and they're going back and forth and this and that, and then it's like, I just don't want to deal with that, man. My job's to just be a fighter. My job's not to deal with, people that can't fucking just get along. But then as for the UFC, I couldn't attend the UFC, unfortunately, because I had some prior commitments. But no, it was sick. It was still a sick weekend for the team, so obviously still got to watch, but just not in person.
What was your thoughts on your boy Seb Szalay? Obviously, he looked amazing. And I've always said he's the most informed. George might be the guy that's put the flashiest. George Mangos might be the guy that's put the flashiest sort of performances on, beaten some tough guys. Not all of them, but he's beaten some tough guys. You included in that. And he's sort of like the next big thing. But Seb is like the most informed guy I feel in Australian MMA.
Yeah, obviously, like the way I look at it, Seb's on a massive win streak. He's killing it. Did the Grand Prix, won the belt, defended the belt. His fight with Taser was sick to watch. Like I thought he was going to get him out of there. Honestly, I thought he was had Taser done. And I think the big thing with Seb, and this is probably the thing that separates Seb and George a bit, is Seb is a very technically sound and clean and precise fighter. So even when he had Taser hurt, he was going for the finish, but he was trying to be clean and technical and precise to get that finish, which is not a bad thing, and that's a smart way to do it. But sometimes you do kind of need to just go, fuck it, go for it. Like, not worry about being pretty, like, just put the dude away. Whereas with George, I think that's kind of what you see from him sometimes. Like when he finds that opportunity to put someone away, but you can tell it's just he's got that intent to be like, okay, I'm just going to put this guy away, and it necessarily doesn't. He's not really thinking about what it looks like visually. It's just like, I'm trying to find a finish, and just pounces on it. So I think the way I look at it, like both guys are obviously killing it. Both guys are on win streaks. Both guys are, right up there. Obviously, I would want nothing more than to see Seb get picked up and, start getting some big opportunities in like the UFC and stuff like that. But like, it just comes back to the same thing that we're always having to deal with when there's two people from each promotion that are in the top of their game. It's like, we need to see them fight, but it's just not going to happen. What I would like to see ideally is if Mangos beats Ethan Thomas next week, you do what they did with Drilic and Gauchi, and you put Seb and Mangos together on Contender Series, pit them against each other, and let's fucking see what happens. Let's find out who's the best.
Well, I've weirdly changed my stance of that in the last year. I don't think you need to be the standout guy anymore. I think we're going to start seeing, like, look at the flyweight division, right? Like, let's say Gauchi and all Drilic and whatnot. Sorry, and welterweight as well. A year ago, they're the two biggest weight classes with the most talent, and now they're butchered. Like Stewie Nickel, you had Stewie Nickel, you had Drilic, you had Gauchi in welterweight, obviously Della, Luciano, all those guys type thing. And then they're all up in the big show. And then now a lot of these better guys can't find fights. So I think it's in a weird way, it's bad for the sport, like regionally, if you want to match main event fights for Hex and Eternal and beat down all that. But in terms of like talent for the country, it's pretty good.
Yeah, well, realistically now, you're in a spot where if George wins next week, if I were him, just chill. And then you look at the last season of Contender Series, it's probably likely that him and Seb are going to get like picked up for that regardless. So you probably don't need to do that thing, especially if he goes out there and gets another finish. Like, it's just like, you've done what you're supposed to do. And then even for Seb right now, like obviously when he walked out of the cage at Eternal, he had some, he had a chat with Hunter Campbell and had some nice words from him and that. So, you're right there. You're doing, both guys, you're doing what you're supposed to do. And obviously it doesn't matter that, right now, it doesn't really matter about like, okay, I need to get back in there. I need to get another fight. Like, you can kind of just put the feelers out and see what happens. But it's like, I sort of look at it now, like I said, the thing for both guys is, unless they're going to fight each other, and unless that's going to be in a Contender Series type of thing where there's a contract at stake and it's like for all the marbles, you don't really need to do anything else after this.
Yeah, and is that frustrating for you though? Because like where you were in your spot, you probably could have waited. Like, you needed some more finishes, but you could have just flown in some international guys. Instead, you decide to take on George Mangos. Is there a little bit of you that goes, oh man, maybe I should have just sort of sat?
I mean, I can, but to be honest, bro, I had a year out waiting for. I couldn't get fights. I had a year out just sitting on the sidelines after the second Costa fight, and it's like, I mean, like I spoke about before, like I can sit here and go, man, like everyone knows I should have got signed probably right after that, and like, yeah, and then I sat out waiting, and then obviously made the decision to fight. Fought Barber, fought Mangos, didn't go my way. Like, yeah, did I have to take those fights? Probably not. Could I just, like you said, could I have flown in, you know, some lackluster opposition just to kind of get a couple more wins and do it that way? Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, I look at it now and I'm kind of like, especially the position I'm in now, it's like everything kind of just panned out how it's supposed to pan out. Like, yeah, you can be frustrated by it, but I know if I go out there next week and perform, man, if I put Joblin away and I do it again like I did in my last fight, if I get there with a first round finish, another belt, up in weight, beat everyone, won belts in both promotions, two-weight champion, it's time. It's time. Because after that, I think I'm 100% done regionally. I'm not going to, I don't need to, like, I think after that, I've done everything you're supposed to do. I got to the top. I was at the top. I stumbled against George. I got straight back into it, fought less than a month later, beat Rod, fought again, like very soon after that, beat Raf. Now I'm fighting again, not too far after that, you know, doing what I'm supposed to do. So I feel like, yeah, I've paid my dues. I've earned my position. I've done what I'm supposed to do. And I think, especially if I go out there next week, like I go win this second belt up in weight at lightweight, that's going to be hard pressed for anyone to deny me an opportunity in a bigger promotion.
And like, don't get me wrong, it is inevitable with some guys. Like, yeah, they talk about age and talk about like quick finishes and all that sort of stuff. But you guys like Callum Potter, Steve Kennedy, like I know it was a different sort of time, but you still, if you just keep smacking people for long enough, they have to sign you.
Yeah, well, bro, I'm young. Like I'm young. I've taken barely any damage in my career. Go look at all my fights. Like outside of being TKO'd by Costa, like I've barely taken damage in my fights. Like I've been very fortunate. And that's just how it's panned out. And that's just, I guess, stylistically too, that's just how it's panned out, especially early on in some of my sort of early on fights because I was more wrestling based. Yeah, man. So I feel like I'm absolutely fortunate to be like in the position I'm in. I'm young, I'm healthy. I feel like, you know, obviously I haven't really touched wood, you know, I've not dealt with any crazy injuries outside of breaking my foot leading into the second Costa fight initially or whatever. Yeah, I've been good. So, you know, I feel like I've got plenty of time left in. You know, I want to spend that time fighting the best people in the world and working towards, you know, potentially ticking off that last goal I have for myself of winning like a world title. So, yeah, and for me, I'm pretty content with, you know, my position that I'm in now. I'm content with everything that I've done. Like I said, I've ticked off all these things. I do the stuff you're supposed to do. I'm active. I fight, you know, whoever. I've moved up in weight now. Like I'm just gonna, you know, I'm just gonna do what I do. And next week I'm gonna go out there, show out against Joblin, get a finish, grab that Hex belt, and then it's time for me to sort of, you know, look to going out there and making my case for fighting in the world stage.
And also, there's a fun fantasy matchup too. If you take this out, Martinez welterweight title. He was a lightweight. I've been next to both of you. You're very similar size. Who knows? First ever 3-weight champion.
Nah, don't tempt me. I have to go back to Eternal to get snatched that one.
Because you fought welterweight, haven't you?
I have. Yeah, I'm undefeated at welterweight, bro.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Just stroll on over. And wasn't that on like 24 hours notice?
Yes, but yeah.
Exactly. Call that favor in. Be like, hey, Cam, remember that time?
Yeah.
So, Eternal?
Well, that's it, bro. Either that, I mean, let's be honest. I'll just say this directly down the barrel of the camera. I'd rather go to welterweight at Eternal and fight Martinez than I would go to welterweight at Hex and fight Campbell. Fuck that.
Well, what's your thought? What was your thoughts on Martinez's? Because obviously he misses weight a whole lot, and then he goes to welterweight. But then he fights Brenton Mumford, who's a bigger lightweight, but still, you know, done his career at lightweight. What was your thoughts against Costello? Do you think we've never seen Costello before? Did you think? I mean, you had a back and forth with him online, but do you think that like is he an Australian level welterweight?
No. Oh, you mean Martinez or Costello?
Both.
Oh, Costello, no, but. Dave's just Dave, bro. You can't bet against Dave Martinez, bro.
He can't.
I knew that Dave was going to fucking beat the shit out of that dude. I mean, a 5-2 guy that's fought fucking bums, and then he gassed out and then got absolutely pissed up. Like, yeah, he started off early. I will be honest, that's the first time I've seen Dave get hit in a fight and actually show that he was like...
He can hit back.
Yeah, was hurt.
Because he cracked him back.
Hey?
He got cracked and then cracked him back.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, the first time I've ever seen Dave get hit and you sort of see him react on, oh, fuck. Because normally Dave just gets hit and he's just like, yeah, whatever. And obviously I've trained with Dave and I've sparred with him I'm in the gym. I've like landed some bombs on him and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? This guy's just walking me down.
Yeah.
But
that's Team Compton, bro.
Fight too, man, potentially. But like I said, I'm pretty content with after this being like I'm well and truly done. If I were to fight again regionally, I think something like that would be the only thing that would make sense. Like me and Dave, welterweight title, potential chance to be a triple champ. Let's fucking go.
Now, before I kind of talk about the fight that is in front of us, talking about, you spoke about fighting Cairns, and we talked about Ilia Topuria's brother, and in the lead up to his UFC debut. And he fought Cairns, but he then fought a tough guy, your boy, Colby Thicknesse. He kind of stole that fight from you because you were calling for that fight about a year ago, trying to do the whole Topuria's brother thing with Volk. You train with Volk. Was it funny to see that come to fruition, but with Colby?
It was just really cool. Like, it was really cool that storyline still got to happen with someone, and it was, still that freestyle thing. It was still like, Colby fighting Alexandre, and then the thing with Ilya and Volk, and it was still cool to see that pan out. But I mean, looking at it now, obviously when we were trying to make that happen, he refused to fight on the same night as his brother, and obviously it was like a pivotal role in his coaching staff, and wanted to be like in the corner for Ilya that night and just focus on him, which is fair enough. But I mean, looking at it, like, yeah, it makes sense too, man. Like, probably it's a good thing that it didn't pan out that way for him because he's just too small, bro. If we fought, I would have fucking ragdolled him around. Like, he looks good at bantamweight. I mean, he looks like he cut a lot of weight. Like, he looks like he fucking cut a lot of weight. He looked sucked out early in the week. So I don't know if they're still trying to dial that in because I think that's the first time he's officially made bantamweight for a fight. But yeah, man, you can tell the dude's obviously skilled. Like, regardless of looking at his record, and before that, he's just fought a bunch of cans. But he's a skilled martial artist, man. Look what he's been able to achieve with his brother, and he's obviously like got Ilya as one of his main training partners. So you can't knock the fact that he's got good skills. But yeah, it was just cool to see that pan out, and obviously see Colby go out there, debut, do his thing, fucking put on an absolute show, get after it, for 3 rounds, and fucking just looks like he's slotted in and just belongs to be in there, which is what we all knew. So yeah, it's just been cool to see that play out, and now Colby's obviously got the opportunity to go out there again and do his thing when that happens.
Now, Colby threw up a buggy choke attempt. Has he ever done that to you in training?
Yeah, he's caught me with that. He's caught me with that a couple of times, and then after that, I made a conscious decision that I will go to sleep. I'm not tapping to that bullshit ever again. But now, yeah, he's caught everyone. I'm pretty sure he's caught everyone in the gym with it except for like maybe Volk. I mean, Volk's neck is like this big.
Yeah,
so
he doesn't have a neck. It's pretty hard.
Yeah, so that's why I was cracking up when Ilya said that he was going to, maybe this time round, if they fought again, he'd submit Volk. I was like, bro, Ortega couldn't submit Volk. What are you going to do? Islam couldn't submit him. So what are you going to do?
Yeah, that's so true.
Even now, like, it's just, I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. But no, Colby, if he got his leg out, man, because it was tight, and you could even like how he had it was tight. But if he got his leg out, Topuria was fucked.
Well, I mean, talk about Volk as well. Like, news obviously dropped of him getting another chance to go back against Lopez and regain his belt. Do you like that for him? Do you like that matchup? And do you like that he kind of gets that opportunity to sort of redeem himself in a way?
Yeah, 100%. He's going to get the belt back for sure. Obviously, it's a tough fight. It's a dangerous opponent. It's Ortega with heaps better striking. That's what we're seeing, right? Diego sits in his, he sits real based and he throws hard and he gets after it from the belt. He's not a slow starter. He just comes out and scraps. So, and he's good everywhere. So it's kind of like, but if you look at that, that's going to allow Volk to sort of do his thing. And especially now with the time off and everything like that, I feel like Aleks is just going to go out there and obviously has to deal with a guy that's going to come out and try and take his head off from the get-go, or, throw up submissions if he's on his back and stuff like that. So that extra bit of danger is there, across the board, because obviously this guy will just jump on submissions and throw stuff up from everywhere, same as Ortega. But yeah, I feel like this is a very, very good fight for Aleks. Like, stylistically, it's a very good fight because it's something that he's seen before. It's not like something that's going to do some shit that he's never seen before. Like, it's going to be a sick fight. And then ultimately for me, obviously, I'd like to see Aleks go smoke Diego, get the belt back, and then depending on what happens with Topuria, if he fights Islam or Poirier or whoever, that lightweight, maybe they want him to fight someone and prove himself or whatever. But say it doesn't work out, right? Say he loses, Volk just goes up 155, rematches Ilya if he wants to do that and get that one back, because I know what he's like. He wants to get that one back. But ultimately, man, if Volk gets his belt back, which we're all very confident that he will, fuck, man, like the world's his oyster. Whatever he wants to do after that, if he wants to fucking move up to go for the fucking lightweight fights and have a couple of fun fights at lightweight, or if he wants to keep defending his belt again and do whatever he does, man, like that guy literally can do whatever the fuck he wants to do because, yeah, like he's the fucking man.
Do you think he walks away?
I don't know. Like, would I be surprised if he just hangs it up there? No. I mean, you're arguably the GOAT at featherweight, or one of the GOATs at featherweight. You know, you win the belt again. You fucking, if he decides to then hang it up, I'm not gonna be. I wouldn't be like surprised. Like I wouldn't be caught off guard and be like, oh fuck, that's crazy. I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. Like whatever, but he's done what you're supposed to do and he's done it twice. So it's like, but knowing him, man, like if he goes out there and especially if he puts on the type of performance that we're, you know, one of them savant performances that we're used to seeing from Volk, I wouldn't be surprised if he then defends the belt a few times and, you know, kind of closes it out that way and then walks away.
Well, I mean, you know, we've spent 25 minutes and we've talked about everyone that's not you and this fight, but now we move on to pretty much the biggest fight of your career. I mean, going up a weight class, lightweight title held by the great Harry Webb, and we know that he's, you know, if he gets back on the fighting track, he is going to be, you know, remembered in the next 10 years as a pretty dominant sort of player. You've called him out before, which was nice. It's unfortunate we didn't ever get to see that fight, but now you get an opportunity to become a lightweight champion for Hex against a guy in Kieran Joblin that does not get enough credit for what he has done in the sport. He is an absolute legend of the game. What does it mean to sort of have that opportunity and against a guy like that?
Yeah, well, that's what I asked for him, man. Like obviously when I was in amateur fighting, Kieran was headlining some of the cards that I fought on and stuff like that. And, you know, I saw him fight all the top guys like the Brenton Mumfords, you know, like get in there and fight absolute monsters. And he was like the man, right? Arguably same thing, was in a position where he should have got picked up and just kept beating people, kept knocking them down. And then obviously, I believe when he was going into the fight with Isaac Hardman, I was like, I think everyone had the consensus if he defends his belt, the Hex title, his XFC belt against Hardman, like, how the fuck are you going to deny this dude, like, even more? Obviously, that fight didn't go his way, but then straight back on the horse, just kept fighting, kept putting people away. So it's like, this dude's experienced, he's dangerous, he's fucking, you know, he's very well-rounded. Yeah, he's the man, bro. Like, honestly, he should, like you said, he should get a whole lot more praise and a whole lot more credit than what he does. And that's what kind of pissed me off when the fight was announced the way it was announced, and then the focus was shifted onto, like, the stuff with Hex and Harry Webb, instead of the focus being on arguably one of the most high-level mixed martial arts fights that you'll see on the regional scene between two of the most experienced and well-rounded fighters that you'll see on the regional scene. This doesn't happen often. Kieran's had like 40 fights, fucking so many fights. I've had a fair few fights. You know, we fought the who's who of like the region for, you know, the last few years. It's like, this should be a fight that people look at and fucking appreciate that it's happening, because it's like you said, man, he's the man. And I'm stoked at the opportunity that I get to share the cage with, like, with someone like him, and then know that I'm coming into a fight with a guy that's going to be prepared. He's well-rounded, he's experienced, and he comes from a really good gym with really good coaches. And then the thing with that, like the fact that, you know, he trains at CKB, I'm at Freestyle, there's that connection there. Yeah. The banter's going to be high. I can imagine Eugene and Joe going at it, giving each other shit in the corner, much similar to when Volk fought Shane Young in the UFC. Like, I heard the banter between the two of them was flying. Like, so it's exciting for me to get in there and fight for a title. Like you said, fight for a title on Hex. I'm going for the lightweight belt, up in weight, against a world-class experienced opponent that's going to, you know, come out there and look to give me the business for a hell of a day.
And Did it frustrate you because the post you were talking about is when Hex announced this fight between yourself and Kieran Joblin for the lightweight crown, there was something in the caption along the line of like true champions, I'm gonna misquote this, but true champions, like they want to fight. Harry Webb hasn't responded to our messages, so we're stripping him. Something along those lines. I can't recall. Go back and find it if you want. But of course, Harry Webb no longer the champion. He hasn't been for really a while. He's Eternal now, all that sort of stuff. But was it frustrating for you that they did make that comment? Did you talk to them and ask them how and why that even happened?
No, I didn't talk to them about it. Like, yeah, it's just obviously it's silly. Like everyone can agree it's silly. Like everyone that knows that Harry Webb obviously signed an exclusive thing with Eternal. He's tied to Eternal, but also the dude just fought with Kevin, and then obviously it was a brutal fight. He had to get surgery on his jaw. He had complications with that, so he's ruled out with that anyway. So even if there wasn't like an exclusivity thing and he was able to fight for Hex still or whatever, like he wouldn't be able to fight now anyway because the dude's still recovering, man, from like complications with his jaw surgery and all that sort of stuff. Like he's going through it, man, and obviously he doesn't have a gym to train at. And there's all those factors. So it was kind of silly but then it made it even sillier that was kind of the thing. And because like I said, it just took away from the fact that, but this fight's about me and Kieran. It's not about all that other stuff. And that's it. But in the same sense, though, I do. Part of me also is like, well, Harry kind of needs to just shut the fuck up at the same time as well, because like you keep jumping on social media and saying stuff, and like I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I just mean this in like you can't keep talking about what's going on at Hex and with the Hex belt and all this stuff. You literally can't fight there. You're tied to Eternal. Right, like he just acknowledged the other day when he was talking about Caruso, he's still recovering from his jaw surgery. He doesn't have a gym to train at, so it kind of was like, and it's like kind of I guess both sides. Just the whole thing just rubbed me the wrong way. It's like, right, it's my moment, it's Kieran's moment. It's not about anyone else. And at the same time, like you said, I called him out. So it's not like I'm afraid to fight him or not want to fight him. If they wanted me to fight Harry and they said we've talked to Eternal, Cam said all good. He's going to let Harry come defend his Hex belt, and then we would fight. Of course, I want that fight. I've always fought the tough guys. I've always fought the guys that are like the toughest people in the region, or the most dangerous. I've gone out of my way to do that. I've fought undefeated guys before and put them away. I'm going to relish in that challenge. So it just kind of bugged me that the whole thing was just kind of like pulled away from Kieran and I, because this, like I said, a fight like this, you don't see shit like this often on the regional scene. So it's like, I feel like that should be the focus. And I feel like people kind of just need to, the whole thing kind of just needs to get put to bed now anyway. Like Harry's tied to Eternal, he's got to fight at Eternal, and that's just how it is.
Well, rounding that out, because like I said, I do want to give all the shine to you and Kieran because it deserves it. But were you ever offered Harry Webb? Because there was a moment where that was kind of rumoured.
Not like officially on like a contract or anything. Verbally, Hex was like, yeah, cool. Like if we, that'd be an option if like, especially with the stuff when Abdallah was like, we didn't know what was happening there, and then obviously the kickboxing thing happened and other stuff like that. And then before George was the fight with George came together, it was like I was kind of like, well, fuck, if I'm going to fight anyone, like why don't I just fight Harry then instead? So it's just like I was never like officially offered a contract and gone, okay, you're going to fight Harry Webb at lightweight or whatever, or Harry's going to come to featherweight or whatever. Like it was just kind of, but I don't know. It would have been cool, man. There's obviously, but then that's happened across the board, man. There's been a few matchups that just didn't come together for whatever reason. That would have been cool, but you can't really dwell on that. It just is what it is.
Now, talking of Joblin, because like I said, I do want to focus on this. How do you think this matchup goes down? Like, what's the sort of tricky areas that you're really sort of working on in preparation?
Well, that's the thing, man. I'm very blessed that obviously I'm at Freestyle and I have really good coaches, I have really good training partners, and especially for this camp, Casey has been a invaluable sort of asset for this camp, and so has Jamie Malaki. He's been a massive boost to my camp and been like a key training partner for me as well to sort of prepare for this fight. And I think for both of those guys, the rest of my team and the coaching for Joe and Volk and everyone like that, I'm prepared for everything because I know Kieran's experience is well rounded. I've shared the mat with him as well, so I know I know he's well-rounded. I know he's got good skills in every area, and he's experienced. And he's very crafty. So the main thing for me looking at this fight is like, no matter if we're on the feet, in the wrestling, in the grappling, or whatever it is, I just can't let this guy. I just can't settle or kind of think that I can cruise in any point or any position, because he's experienced and he will utilize that. If I don't, we get a wrestling exchange and, he takes me down and I don't immediately try and like pop up to my feet or get top position or scramble, he's going to settle and he's going to be able to comfortably sit there and steal around and grind you out. And if you make a mistake, he's going to find it. He's going to find your neck. He's going to find a finish. So it's just one of those things where, for as long as it takes, whether it's 1 minute, 5 minutes, 25 minutes, like I've got to be on point and utilize my full skill set as a mixed martial artist to sort of, deal with the puzzle in front of me. But in saying that, I feel like at the same time, he can't afford to do that with me either. If he shoots a lazy shot, or if he lets me get a hold of him and pull him down, or, you let me get to your back, like, it's a wrap. If I get a hold of you and I go for a choke, it's done. So that's exciting. Like, both of us have the skills to put each other away everywhere, and both of us are experienced, and both of us are well prepared. So I think whether it goes the full 25 or not, I think for as long as it lasts, it's going to be a high level mixed martial arts fight that's going to get people out of their seats thinking like, holy shit, this is fucking crazy.
All right, my man. If people want tickets or what, can you still get commissions? Shout it out.
Yeah, I have a link in my bio. So if you want, go to my Instagram. There's a link in my bio, but I'll periodically still put that up on my story and stuff as well. Get your tickets, and then obviously it's going to be broadcast on Combat Sports Network, CSN. So tap into that, get your pay-per-view, and fucking lock in. But yeah, it's going to be sick, bro. I'm going to put this dude away, claim that belt, and that's a wrap for me here in Australia, and we're going to the big show.
Mate, all right. Actually, no, before I let you go, what's your thoughts on Antonio Caruso? He's popped up in the news recently.
Fuck, all right. Let's open this can of worms. All right. So I got verbally offered Caruso as well, but then didn't really go to fruition or anything like that. And then I'm happy I got the fight with Joblin because that's what I asked for. But look, I don't know this for certainty, but I heard that our mate the Spartan, and I've got nothing against Antonio. He's always been cool with me. I've met him a few times and we've exchanged messages and spoken a bit here and there. I don't dislike the dude. I have nothing against him. But I heard he was asking for crazy money. I'm talking like $15K to fight or something. So
$15K
on the regional scene, it's never going to happen. And I think because he went overseas and fought a bunch. He fought a few fights in America, and then he came back. Obviously, and he was training at Hillcliff when he goes over there and stuff. So I think he probably just thought, well, I'm in a good position, my good record. I just fought overseas in America. If you want me to fight here, I want to be paid and I want to be looked after, which is fine. But yeah, I think obviously that's a fucking insane amount of money to one Eternal or Hex to fork out, regardless of how deep their pockets might be. It was just fucking, it's like, I don't know, man. I was, I don't know. And then it's the same thing. Like, it's the same thing. Like, you're asking to fight Harry. Harry asked to fight you. I don't know what happened there. If, like, he declined, or I don't know the story behind all that, but it's the same thing. It's like you're going back and forth, but one of the guys can't fight. Like, he can't fight. He's fucking injured, and he's like doesn't have a gym, and he's going fucking do some shit, bro. So like, it can't happen. So like, again, respectfully, both of you need to just kind of shut the fuck up.
Wow. Yeah. No, look, I like Caruso. He's always been good to me. I mean, he shit on me the other day, but he was like, I've always loved Caruso, right? But people have, and know your worth and everything, but people have kind of critiqued him before for outpricing himself. Do you think that's a tactic to not have to fight? Because I can say I'd fight Justin Van Heerden for 30 grand. Yeah.
Well, 100%. You can look at it that way. Look, don't get me wrong. I can see him looking at a fight with someone like Harry, who, like we just spoke about, Harry's in a really good position. He's got a really good record, and he's obviously like highly touted. So do I think it's wild that he maybe is asking for something like that to fight someone like Harry, and because it is a big thing to sort of step in there with something like that, I guess. Maybe, whatever, I don't know. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe that's, in his mind, that's probably his thing. He's like, well, if I want to fight, do I want me to fight this dude who's a dangerous guy, and he's got all this hype. If I win, that's good for me. But if I lose, that fucking sucks. So at least let's pay me some fucking money. Is that bad? Is that weird? Probably not. Is that the motivation behind it? I don't know. I don't know, man. It's just like it's a funny thing. Like, it's hard for me to sort of relate to when stuff like this happens because, like, I don't know how to do that. Like we spoke about this, but I just fucking fight. I just show up, I fight, and I do my thing, and I don't fucking relish in, like, when things don't work out. I just go, sweet, let's get another fight, and I go out there, I get back on the horse, I beat up someone, I win, and we get back to it. And that's what I've done. And now I'm fighting for the lightweight title. I'm going to win that. And then, like we said, we're looking at going all the way to the top, to the big show. But if we had to have another fight recently, something like a third weight class for a third belt, that is exciting. And that's some shit and then, that's something that benefits you greatly. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think I get it, man. You got to kind of just do what's best for you and yours and kind of pick your fights and pick your position and stuff like that. But like I said, I don't know the exact sort of details and stuff like that, but I do. Allegedly, he was asking for some crazy money. So, yeah.
All right, man. All right, Ali Run. We will chat when we speak next, and it's going to be a very exciting fight. You and Kieran Joblin, Hex Fight Series 34, March 1st. Best of luck, my man.
Thank you.